Hello, this is James Wilde. Some of the material in this recording refers to events and ideas that were relevant at the time they were made. Because much of Stuart Wilde's philosophy is timeless, we here at Quiet Earth felt these precious recordings should not be lost to humanity, and so we have re-recorded and released them for you to enjoy.
The first lecture is history, and I don't mean to sort of pound facts and figures into you, but to get an idea where this energy is, to understand that it's impartial, but it's here. It's here in the same way it was here for the musicians in Vienna, for the Renaissance, for the Etruscans, for Camelot. It was there for those people, and it's here now. Once you know it's here, that's already a step. Working with it and understanding it's inside of you is the second step. And then we will talk today about how to grip it in a vice-like grip where it will give you what you want, given time. But you have to have this power. First you have to garner it, then you have to nurture it, and custodianship, this custodianship of light, is understanding this power is inside of you and understanding the techniques for garnering the power up and then looking after it. Looking after it, because the responsibility is with you. Okay, I'm going to talk for 5 minutes on reincarnation, and if you don't believe in reincarnation, play among yourselves. I believe the body that you're in is just a physical body, that the real you is an eternal, immortal, infinite energy that is inside the body that chose it, Whenever I say that, the room always goes quiet. That chose it. I believe this higher self, or this infinite energy inside of you, has the ability to perceive what it's going to get into. It did not know necessarily every minute detail of your life, but I believe that it chose it. And so no matter what you chose, what part of the world you decided to be born in, whether you decided to be born male or female, what religion or creed or nation you were a part of, you chose that energy, and you chose it because it would be a unique learning experience. I believe that the higher self perceives what it's getting into. It cannot go through the whole of your life, but it understands the first 13 years. If there was restriction and abuse in your lifetime, in the first part of your life, it chose it. If your parents split up when you were born, it chose that. It chose the one-parent situation. If you were born an orphan, it chose it. If you were born disadvantaged, if you were born with an extra leg growing out your left ear, it chose it. It had the ability to see that that was going to be what it was. But being in a body for the higher self is such a powerful experience. It's such an incredibly exhilarating, immediate experience for it. It's like if somebody says to you, listen, you can have this incredible experience. You can fly to Hollywood and you can meet the stars and wine and dine with them. We'll have a helicopter at the airport. You know, do you really care? Do you really care what time you're going to be going to bed, or whether or not, you're going to have that little bowl of Cheerios you have? You don't care. You just want to go, it's going to be great. Let's get in there. Well, it's the same for the higher self. The higher self was so delighted to be in the body, to have this opportunity, this unique metaphysical growth, that it came anyway. It came anyway. So when you look at a person that would seem physically disadvantaged, you're only looking at their body. If you're looking, say, at a disabled person, you're only looking at a disabled physical body. The inside reality of them is eternal and perfect. And the inside reality of you is eternal, it's perfect, and it's limitless. Limitless. I believe that when the body wears out and the body stops, this inner energy separates, that it returns back through the spirit world and dimensions that are beyond my ken, back into the higher self. There it reviews what's been going on, where the strengths were, where the weaknesses were, how well it did, the interpersonal relationships, the understanding that it got. Because the higher self gains experience in the physical world by literally banging up against it. It's the very fact that you can scuff your knuckles on reality that makes it such a wonderful place to be. So when you trip and fall on the carpet out there and you hurtle down like a complete loony and bounce off one of the ashtrays, it's a good experience. It's the higher self saying, my personage, learning about balance, learning about being on time, and a little trickle of blood on the forehead, never mind. It's an experience. We got something out of it. Okay, as these experiences begin, they begin in restriction. The physical body is very, very restrictive. You don't have that many square inches to mess with. But as you begin in restriction. And so the early incarnations are incarnations where you find yourself in like southern Sudan and you've got one crust of bread and it's not even yours. It belongs to the whole tribe, And you say, well, when do I get to take a little chew out of this piece of bread? And they say, Thursday. And you say, this Thursday? They say, no, next Thursday, right? And you wonder, and you wish, and you think, and you say, my God, Lord has left me here someplace. It's restrictive. But you arrive and you plop there and you learn physicalness. You learn in that situation. The more basic incarnations, the more basic experiences are the learning where you can't get out of it. And the reason the higher self goes into those type of learning experiences is because the higher self, by gathering its energy into a restrictive area, which is this little body in southern Sudan with a little crust of bread, it experiences a concentration of its own energy. It experiences an immediate application of itself. It's very immediate sitting there in Sudan, and I mean, they understand love, they understand friendship, community, they understand family, they understand strength, and they die at 19, having had 3 children. It's an immediate and quick thing. Okay, the early incarnations are very, very restrictive, You find yourself in a society where you can't get out of it. You find yourself locked into a very tight, forceful religious situation, perhaps. Or you get involved in some particular area of the world where you're born right up in a mountain and you just don't leave. I mean, the people that live in Wales, it always used to blow me away. They would be born in a valley. And one of the things in Wales is that many people are called Jones, So you're born in a valley that you never leave, and everybody in the valley is exactly the same as you, and they all have the same name as you. That is really weird. That is a restrictive incarnation. Okay. As you begin to develop more and more, as this higher self begins to have more and more experiences, it begins to lighten up. It begins to have better looking opportunities for itself. It's like it's been on the physical plane, it's made a few connections, it has a few karmic links, and suddenly, after about the 6th lifetime, it accepts a stronger type of incarnation, and it moves into patterns that are more free, more fluid. And so you might find yourself as a mariner on a boat or something, and you get to travel for the whole of your life, or you find yourself as a landowner within a rich family, and that family has money, and you get culture, music, and you begin to free up what you are. Okay, if you don't believe in reincarnation, this is the point where you can come back in again. You can put your little Scrabble boards away and stuff like that, because that's where you've arrived. That's where you are today. It's like you have found yourself in a much lighter situation. You have money, you're moving in a very fast society, you can get on an aircraft and be on the other side of the world, you've got 60 gallons of water to shower with, never mind that little muddy bucket, you've got it all around you, There is more freedom. This freedom is the way that the higher self expresses is at the end. It's almost like you're now coming to the graduation of the physical plane. The graduation. And you can take the energy that's around you, that we have right here today to play with, which I will spend all of today talking about. You can take this energy, and with all the experiences that you've mastered in the past, you can bring it together in one incredible crescendo, and then you split. You wave the physical plane goodbye forever, and you go to be something else. You go to a higher evolution. Because this eternal evolution that is inside you is infinite. It was before you began, and it will be after you quit. And those kind of archetypal images where they talk about like little angels sitting on the cloud playing a harp, I used to think of that. I think, Christ, what a dumb job, I want to sit in a cloud playing a harp. It isn't like that. That is just a simple way of explaining it to people when there aren't any real good ways to show it to them. But evolution is infinitely exciting. If you can bring all of this energy together all at once, you can actually begin to leave the earth plane while you're still here. While you're still here. How do you do it? You become so much of this force inside you, you become so attuned with this inner energy that you begin to leave, you control the physical body, you control the emotions, you're in command of the intellect, you're bringing all these energies together in a creative splendor of what it is that you do, your own personal magnificence, that spark that you're giving to the world, and then little by little that energy begins to take you out. It begins to allow you to perceive dimensions that are right here in this room that you can be a part of, that they're not hidden from you. The only thing that keeps you here is basically the restriction of the belief patterns that we hold. But there is nothing stopping you perceiving beyond the physical plane, beyond sight, sound, touch, taste, and I think I left one out. And you can go beyond the 4.5 senses, and you can become the sixth sense and beyond sixth, whereby you walk down the road, you see the physicalness, you see what's going on, you see the cab driver fighting with the passengers, but beyond that, you see the etheric dimension, you see energy, you see thought forms in motion, you see feelings moving, because feelings move. They're not just floating around hanging off your ears, they move, they create, they're part of what you are. As you walk along, you walk with your physical body, your hair, your clothes, what you're wearing, but you walk with your feelings. But all your feelings are right there, and they're very visible, and you can see them. And you know what the person is going through or not going through. This restriction that these incarnations have brought you to this point, when it begins to get a little bit lighter, the first thing that you will do is you'll get involved with your body. You'll start looking at, like you say, man, I've had this pain here for like 11 years. I think I ought to try doing something about it. You'll start to work with it. The second thing that you'll want to do is you'll become restless and you'll start to travel. And I'm sure everybody in this room has felt that. It's that feeling that, wait a minute, it's time that I get out of here, Because why? Because as your energy inside of you begins to move faster, the molecules or atoms or the life force that's in there that is indescribable, it moves faster. And as it moves faster, you look at the little Welsh village and you say, wait a minute, there's got to be another valley beyond this one. And one day, you take a bus and you go there, and you'll begin to travel, you begin to open up this restriction. Open up this restriction. Open up this restriction. Open up this restriction.